Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're hopping into the Forest of Training Magnetic utilizing Yuita's Kid. So, Kid versus Kid, I guess? Question mark. Well, that was the team, those are the supports. Let's dive in. Alright, so we're going to start over here on the Apu stage, because this particular stage is actually probably the most annoying stage of the whole forest, for this particular team anyway. So, most of you guys are probably sitting there wondering, like, hey, Stump, when did you get your hands on Kid? Like, when did that happen? Well, your boy did some silly things. He ended up getting Kid. I don't want to really talk about it too much, but look, just know that I now have Kid. We do have the 3 Super Sugos, and we will be going for a Sabo, and that will be our last hurrah on Global as a pay-to-play player. After that, I will be going free-to-play, so I thought I'll get my hands on the Super Sugos. They are very exclusive, and everything else I can sort of just get off tickets as a free-to-play player, right? So, over on the beach stage, they put up 10 turns of Threshold and damage reduction. We are going to use our limited Rare Recruit Lucy special, as well as the switch ability of our Mihawk and Perona. That way we can give that negative effect, and with that attack boost that limited Rare Recruit Lucy can give, we can actually take out this particular stage fairly easily. You do want to make sure that you kill Beach at the beginning, and then after the second turn, kill Vito and Grotty. Very important that you actually do that. With this particular team, you probably noticed that I had the Reiju support on my Kid. Now, I don't think Reiju is actually essential, but the funny thing is about this particular forest is I don't actually use my Kid special the entire run. Like, I don't even use it once. Oh, I use it at the end, actually. And the reason I had Reiju is because she gives us a small orb boost. But if you guys don't have that Reiju support and you want to run this a little bit differently, you definitely can. Because if you actually use your Kid specials throughout the run, you can actually get the super typing. And with the super typing, you can get a full board orbs, I'm pretty sure. But with the amount of damage that you have at the end, like, it really doesn't matter too much, because, Kid just devours the final stage anyway. But if you guys don't have Reiju, don't sweat, stress, you really don't need it that much. All the other supports are really just sort of, like, bonuses besides Akainu. The Akainu support on our Mihawk and Perona is definitely essential for the X-Ray Page 1 and Basil Hawkins stage, so make sure you guys have that just so you can output a little bit more damage. But as you guys saw there, we used the Vivi Rebecca special on the Rogue stage to take him out, and then on the second turn against Heat and I think it's like Vixlo or something like that, or Vixo, from the Kid Pirates. On the second turn, we're going to be able to take out Heat, namely because we are going to have access to some Strength Orbs. Because of the switchability of Mihawk Perona giving themselves a Strength Orb, because of Vivi Rebecca rotating Orbs as well, we can easily get Strength Orbs for our 2 of our strength units, and then we are Gucci. Now, the thing about Kid, and the thing that I actually forgot as a JP player as well, is Kid actually reduces damage by 25% when you are below 50% HP, which is absolutely monstrous, especially because this team has access to Mihawk and Perona. With Mihawk and Perona, they are boosted both under Kid, as Mihawk is a strength unit, Perona is a driven unit, and it just works really, really nicely. But you have to be mindful of when you use their special, you want to be in the strength variation, so that way you get the most out of them. On this particular stage, after the barriers go away, we get all of our specials roll back to the beginning. But don't stress, we are going to stall here. I'm going to fast forward a bit, and I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so as you can see, like, with our switch abilities, we can just heal back the amount of damage that we take. The 25% damage reduction is just absolutely monstrous, as well as having the healing from Mihawk, Perona, and Vivi Rebecca to literally just heal back most of the damage that we do take. You guys will see the effectiveness of that damage reduction once we hit the King stage. It's actually wild, and when I was running this team for the first time, I actually beat this first run, and I was genuinely impressed with what Kid could actually do. I'd been giving Kid a lot of slack, namely because he just struggles in these long distance sort of events. But with that 25% damage reduction on both Kids, it is absolutely monstrous, and you can actually do some wild things. On the killer stage, after we take out the Kid Pirates, we are just going to use Uso Hachi here. This is another little bit of a showcase for Limit Break Expanded Uso Hachi. It did recently come out on Global, and if you do have the materials and you do have the copies, I would definitely max him out, as he actually gets fear resistance, which is really, really nice. But on this killer stage, he's just an absolute weapon, as he can not only delay, but remove the damage reduction Killer puts up. Killer only lets us use one special as well, so it's very easy to just take out time on this particular stage, take out Killer with normal attacks, and then move on to Big Mom. Now, once we hit Big Mom, we have to be careful, as she does bind 2 random units. And if she binds our limited Rare Recruit Lucy, as you guys saw there, we will need to reload the game. As soon as you see the bind pop up on Lucy, you need to quickly close the app and reopen it. Otherwise, you're in for a bad time, and you won't be able to get around that. Limited Rare Recruit Lucy is a weapon here because he can not only remove the bind, but he actually also removes the block orbs, which is really, really nice. He also gives us a attack boost to our strength and our psi units, which is really, really cool. That way we can take out Big Mom, no issues whatsoever. Then we move on to the Basil Hawkins, X-Stroke, and Page 1 stage. They're going to remove our special effects by 3 turns, and they put up 1 turn of defense up, which is a little bit frustrating. But with this particular stage, this is where most teams namely struggle. What we're going to do here is we're going to switch with our Mihawk Perona. Because there's more than 2 enemies, we can get that guaranteed negative effect. We can use their special for a conditional boost, and with the support of a Kainu, we can get an attack boost. Normally on this particular stage, you can't get an attack boost at all, otherwise Basil Hawkins will interrupt you. So just be mindful of that. We can then use the Vivi Rebecca special to remove the defense up, and then because we have an attack buff, we can use the Kid special to get a orb boost. With that, we have so much damage here that we can just easily take out Basil Hawkins in page 1. Now, ideally, you really want to try and, like, just take the 2 of them out and then just sort of, like, leave X-Drake alive. But, as you guys saw there, like, I just, like, trying to change to page 1 is just so frustrating. And most of the time, I end up killing X-Drake because the amount of damage output that this team has, and most teams on that particular stage have, it's just absolutely astronomical. Once we move into the King stage, though, he's going to bind our ship by 4 turns. He's going to give us 3 turns of despair, so that's why using the Kid special last turn doesn't really matter, because, like, we don't need that HP anyway. And he puts up 3 turns of damage reduction and threshold. After the first turn, he's going to start putting up a colored orb barrier, and it goes Dex, Int... No, it goes Quick, Int, Dex, Psi, Strength. So having Mihawk Perona for this particular stage is just absolutely god tier, as with their switch ability, obviously we get heal back, but they give themselves a matching orb. With that guaranteed orb, we can get a Psi or a Strength orb, which is really, really nice. Sorry, the Psi orb's the last orb. So once you do hit the 3rd turn, when King puts up the Dex barrier, you need to make sure that you are in the Perona stage. We are going to stall out the Despair, we are going to stall out the damage reduction and the threshold, and then once that's gone, you guys are about to see how powerful that 25% damage reduction is. King only hits us for 5,000 damage. Without our ship, that is just absolutely insane. Because we can switch with Mihawk Perona, because we can switch with Vivi Rebecca, we can actually heal back. I think it's something like 3,500, so the amount of damage that King's actually doing to us is just absolutely nothing. It's so low that it really doesn't even matter. Hopefully you guys there can get yourself a matching orb, like an Dex orb to break that barrier like I did. Utilizing the switch ability of Vivi Rebecca can sort of help with that a little bit, but it's really not essential to get that. Once you do have your Usohachi special back, I would highly recommend using that as soon as possible, mainly just for the cooldown. That's really all Usohachi's good for now. Is literally just his cooldown, as well as being a strength unit, as well as having barrier pen. Another really good thing about utilizing Usohachi for this particular fight is he has barrier pen, so you can output some damage here, and it does work really, really nicely. As you guys can see here, I can switch into my Mihawk unit. That way I'm guaranteed that strength orb, which is really, really nice. And then we can start doing some damage to King. We can use one of our Kid specials if we need to. That way we can get an attack boost to output a lot of damage, but it really depends on what your orbs actually look like. Because Vivi's not actually getting boosted by Kid, that is something to note as well. You need to be mindful of that Vivi's actually not getting a boost at all. So you do want to start the chain with her, and with the 2.5 times chain lock they can give with their switch ability, it just helps out drastically. Once King puts up the Psi barrier, we can switch with our Mihawk Perona. That way we can give ourselves that Psi orb. And if you guys need to as well, like I got lucky with the Dex orb, but if you guys need to, don't be afraid to just pop one of your Kid specials here. We are below 50% HP, so you will lose that. Obviously, I'm just going to pop it here just to show you guys that you can actually complete the rest of the forest without it. But if you guys need to do that on the previous turn or this turn, this is usually the best turn to do it because you can have like matching orbs with your strength characters. But whichever works for you guys is going to help you guys out a lot. Because we're still under the 50% threshold, once we move into the Kaido stage, things actually get a lot easier than they normally would for this particular stage. Kaido puts up damage null against Psi units, so make sure that, again, you're switching into your Mihawk, which is really handy. We can only use 2 specials here. And that is something to note as well. On the second turn, Kaido's actually going to give us a burn. So that's why stalling out those turns on King is very, very handy, as we can actually get our Limited Rare Recruit Lucy special back exactly at the point when Kaido gives us the burn. Limited Rare Recruit Lucy is not only going to give us that attack buff, but he's actually going to remove the burn, which is really nice. Now the damage null against Psi is gone as well, we can switch into our Perona unit. That way we have color affinity, and because Limited Rare Recruit Lucy doesn't only just boost strength units, he actually boosts Psi units, which is really, really handy. We have a chain lock with our Vivi Rebecca unit as well, and we can give ourselves a full border orbs with the super typing of Kid. With that, we can just do absolutely massive damage to Kaido here. We can not only like do a bunch of damage, but we can actually take him out, which is really, really cool. And say, see you later to our boy Kaido. just with that one orb on Mihawk Perona, or Perona I should say, it's just so nice. And that way when we move into the Kid stage, we can actually switch into Mihawk and guarantee us that negative effect as well as more matching affinity. Once we do move into the final stage against Kid, we can only still use 2 specials. He's immune to defense down and delay, and he gives us a full board of block orbs. We can get a conditional boost with our Mihawk Perona, and that's what makes him so good for this particular forest, because Kid isn't immune to, doesn't have full immunity. We can then use the Kid special. Kid is going to give us an attack boost, and then we can switch with our Vivi Rebecca to give ourselves a chain lock. We do have that very slight orb boost from Reiju, but as you can see here, like, we just have so much damage that, like, that orb buff really isn't essential at all. So if you don't have Reiju, don't stress. But there you guys go. That was my, like, Kid showcase. Your boy did get Kid, and he actually worked really, really well against the Magnetic Forest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!